Also,
Yeah, Chaitra.
can you explain the pattern of row transformation? Is there no that alternate rows? Hello.
Alternate rows. Okay, yeah, I can hear you. In most of the cases, we don't use alternate rows, but we
Okay.
have that option in Power BI, but I'll just explain you.
Okay. There are then we can add up rows and columns manually, right? For whatever the source they have available data set to the data sets.
Manually in your Power BI?
Sorry.
You mean like manually adding a data in Power BI after getting data to Power BI?
Yes.
No, no, no. You can do that in Power BI after loading the data to Power BI, but on Query Editor, we don't do that.
Okay. Like in that situation you have faced anywhere else, like.
No, usually we don't add any data. You mean in the rows or columns? I'll tell you, adding a data is in two different ways. The first
Okay.
way is either adding as a rows. So you have data, let's say, uh, these are column headers, and we got all the records. Once you brought this data, I have three records here, right? Records in the sense rows.
Okay.
Uh, you can't add the rows once you got data from data source because this
Okay.
is the real data or raw data from what you got. You can't add on your own, but you can
Okay.
add columns. You can derive columns like custom columns or any conditional columns. So you can add a columns based on your calculations, whatever we have, but you can't add rows.
Okay. Then something that so yesterday you have teach it, right? Source of from Wikipedia you have to write that World Cup and all. So I didn't get that how to do that.
Okay. It's not about only World Cup, that particular website. You can get the data from any of the websites if they have table in their websites and there is no security applied on that particular website. So Wikipedia is open for everyone, right? So that is the reason I just chose that Wikipedia. Let us go to any other website where we can see the table. Hmm. Okay, let's go for national awards. This, just a moment. I'll just walk you through what will be the today's agenda.
Okay.
Uh, Today we will be discussing about the data types. This is one of the important concepts. If you go to any programming language or any tool, the common concept is data type. So we will discuss about that, and we will discuss about split columns and some of the interview questions related to this. Okay, that's today agenda. Let me come back. So here we have a tables in our this website, right? So copy this URL. Paste the URL here. Now you can see all the available tables in that particular website. We just got the data from Wikipedia. Let us try with another website. Right now we have IMDb. I'm not sure whether we have the tables available in this particular website or not, but let us see. This is one of the windows where the security, in case if there is security on that website, you can't bring the data. Anonymous in the sense like if there is no security applied. So directly you can go to this and you can click on connect. For the web data, which is from Wikipedia, I brought previously. That is the reason I'm not getting the pop-up again. But first time, if you're bringing data from any website, it will ask for this. If they haven't applied any security, you can choose anonymous and click on connect. You can get the data. In case there is security applied on that particular website, you need to choose exact security. Either they might have used Windows security, their Windows login username and password, or else basic security. They might have their own username and password, or else web API. So there will be a key to access the data from web API. So they might have that key. If you have that key, then only we will be able to access the data. Or else organizational account. You need to sign in to get the data. Let us try with anonymous whether we are able to get the data. So now it is trying to connect with IMDb. Public, so we can see the data now. So now you can see whatever the tables available in this particular website, we can see those here. So what exact doubt you have in this related to web? The question, right? Can you hear Can you hear me? Can you please just respond?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Actually, some problem is.
Oh,
Yeah, now it's clear. I don't know how to get that data from the Wikipedia, so I didn't. That's it.
so you can use the web connector. So with the web connector, you just copy the link and paste it here. You will
Yeah,
be able to get the data.
I just skipped that get data option is there. No, I
Okay.
didn't know.
Okay, no problem. Hope you are getting the recorded sessions, right?
Till now I didn't get. Maybe today I will ask.
Okay, sure. In case if you have record session, you can go through that and you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's start the session. So today, first we will see about the data types. data types, usually, if you go to any programming language or any other language, right, you will see the data types. So that describes the nature of the data in that column. If you go to this particular column, if you want to understand what kind of data you have in the whole column, you should know about the data types, like what is this data type about? It's a date. And if you look at this, this is text data. So that the same way we have a different data types in Power BI. So how to see this data type of the column? So for every column, there will be different data types. So if I look at this order date, this is date type. So we have two ways to see this. Either you can click on this, the small icon which is beside your column name. When you click on this, it will show all the data types. If you want to change, you can just click on this. That will change the data type. Okay. Or else you can go to transform. Here we have option called data type. So if you click here, again, you can see all the same data types available here. Okay. Now let us see what are the different data types available in Power BI. The first and common data type is text. If the data is in text format, we can use the first is text, and then we have a numeric. In numeric, we have one is whole number and we have a decimal number. Whole number in the sense without decimal. Decimal number or something where we have a decimal point and the numbers. For example, if you go to these are the decimal numbers and these are the whole numbers. Right? And then we have fixed decimal number. If this data is in currency, if you want to convert that, you can use a fixed decimal number, and that will you will have a fixed number of decimal numbers. And we have a percentage. There are some cases where you will get the data in like I'll give you one example. Last time we have seen, right, win percentage. So sometimes you will get data like this. If I load this, okay, now I want to convert this into percentage. So by default, we got this data type. So click on this, and if you click on this percentage, that will convert that into percentage. Okay, this is percentage data type. So if you look at this icon, it has converted into percentage. And what else we have? We have a date time. In along with the date, if you have time, we can choose the date time icon, date time data type. So if you want only date in your data, so if you look at the ship date, right, I got date along with the time as well. If you want only date, you can convert this. How to convert the data type? Right now it is in date time, right? I want only date. So just click on this and choose the respective data type. So if I click on date, that will convert that into date data type. And if I want only the time from this particular column, so you can choose time. You will get only time. So in your reporting, based on your requirement, you can choose either time or date or both date and time. After that, we have time zone as well. So time zone in the sense like based on your system settings, it will pick the time zone. So when I choose this date, time zone,
She was like that you should have to pick up him. నన్ను వెళ్ళకొనిచ్చి మీరు
can you please mute yourself? So now I choose date, time zone. So now I got date along with the time and the time zone. Right now we are at 5:30 time zone, right? Which is India's time zone. So if you are in different time zone, you will get the time zone over here. So that is one of the data types. And these are related. Duration. This is not much useful now, but we will come back to this later. So most of the time we will be using date or date time. We won't be using the time zone as well. Rarest cases we use the time zone, but most of the time we use date. Few times we use date time. Okay, these are related to date, and we have a text. So if the data is in text format, we can choose the text. But Power BI has that intelligence. Whenever you bring the data, right, automatically it will detect the data type based on your available data. So I haven't choose this data types, but Power BI has done automatically for us. So if you look at this update step, right, by default, it will apply these steps. First, it will look for the headers, and then it will look for the data types. So if I bring any new data, right, I'll just show you. We got sales data. But if you look at this, by default, we got all this update step. And we haven't even choose this data types. Automatically, it has picked based on the available data in that column. So what Power BI will do, it will just go through this column, and based on the available data, it will pick the data type for you automatically. There is one option in Power BI where you can uncheck this one. In case if you don't want the automatically detecting this data type, you can uncheck that one. I will show you once we go to the Power BI settings. And if you go to this transform data, and let's say if there is no data type of, if Power BI haven't picked the automatically data types, if in case if I remove this data type step, now we got right now you can see there is no data type operates on the columns. Everything we have ABC 1, 2, 3, which is there is no data type on this column. There are two ways to apply the data types again. Either you can manually go and apply for each column. For this shipped date, this is date and time. Choose the data type as date and time. That will convert the data type. And for this reason, it is text. So choose text. And for this units, it is whole number. And unit cost, it is decimal number. And total, it is decimal number. Or else we have another option in Power BI where you can select all the columns. You can select any of the columns and click on Control A. That will select all the columns. Now click on Detect Data Types. That will detect the data types automatically based on the available data. You need to choose all the columns to detect the data types for all the whole data. In case if you need only for the particular column, select that column and click on Detect Data Type. That will detect the data type for that column alone. If I go to region, detect data type, it has converted into text. And other data types are, if you go to this is like true or false data type. Binary, sorry, is that true or false, right? So there might be in data, there will be a flag, true or false. For example, this particular item, whether it got delivered to the customer or not, we have a true or false flag. So if you want to keep it proper data type, we have an option called true or false. And then we have a binary data type. As I said, Power BI can handle even structured, semi-structured data, right? Even unstructured data. So these are unstructured data, which these are something nothing but profile pictures. But in real time, you don't see the pictures over here. You will see the binary data. Later in Power BI, you can convert this into binary data into pictures. So right now I can see the profile pictures, right? These are binary data. So now we can convert this into binary. That will convert into binary. Once you load this data to Power BI, there in visualizations, you can keep this binary, right? Automatically, it will pick the profile picture of that particular customers. Okay. And we have seen decimal, fixed decimal number, whole number, percentage, date, time, text, true or false, binary, using local. So here, like each country, they'll be having a different data types, different text formats. So basically text, there won't be much difference. But if you go to date, so based on your local, it will pick the format of your date. If you look at India, right? In India, how we describe the date, how we show the date. First, we will be having date, which is DD, and then followed by month and then year. This is the format we use in India. If you go to US, how they describe the date, how they show the format, month, date, year. So based on your data and requirement, you need to choose the proper format. And if you go to UK, how they will show, I think it is in DD, YY. We will see how it looks like. If you go to India, English India, we got the format like day, month, year. And if I go to UK, so now you can see UK, they are using this particular format, day, month, year, but they are keeping some forward slash. And if I go to US, so they are using month, day, year format. So if you are working for US reports, right? So it is best practice to choose proper local here, so that even in your reporting, there won't be much, issues while working. So if you're working for United States, US projects, so choose the United States here. If you're working for Indian projects, right? In English, you can choose here India. So that will give the proper formats. Okay, based on your local, it will select the data type. So here you can see we got errors because it is text data. I just convert that into date. That is the reason it is throwing an error. If you want to see what is this exactly, the error is, just select this cell. It will show this. We couldn't pass the input provided as date value because it was in text and we are trying to convert that into date. That is the reason it is throwing an error. So I'll undo this. So these are the data types available in Power BI. So you have any doubts related to data types? So always choose the respective, data types for that column. I will tell you while we are creating, right, why data types are really important while creating reports. Because if you don't choose the proper data types, uh, it will be difficult to do the further calculation in Power BI. Let's say what I did for this total, right? We can convert this into text as well. So now can see we have converted it into text. But if I'm going to do any calculation on this in the tax, let's say, if I'm multiplying a 189.05 into 2, it will throw an error because it is in text. You can't do any multiplication on text, right? It's supposed to be in either in whole number or it should be in a decimal number. So if I choose this into decimal, you will be having a proper format and then you can do the calculation on top of it. So this is all about the data types. And then we will move to split columns. First of all, why we go for the split columns? This is one of the transformations and really useful. So in raw data, there are some cases where you will get data in a raw format. Like let's say if you go to customer proof, right? Here, if you see, I have a data where I have Aadhaar card, driving license, voter ID, all this data. But I need only the ID in this column. I don't want Aadhaar card, driving license, voter ID, all this. I need only the ID here. So I just want to split this data. I want to keep Aadhaar card, driving license in some other column. I want only the ID in this column. And if you look at this particular column where I have item and pencil, I don't want item to be appended in each and every row. I want only the item name, pencil, book, pencil, pen, like this. And if you go to the shipping address, I have everything in one row, Electronic City, Bangalore, Karnataka. But I want this in different columns. Like I want the city name in one column. I want the state name in one column. I want the area name in one column. So in this type of cases, we go for the split columns. So first split column option is by delimiter. What is delimiter? Delimiter is like special character which divides the data. So for examples, we have a delimiters like comma. We can use any of this special character as a delimiter. We can use even colon, semicolon, forward slash. We can use hyphen. All these are delimiters. So Power BI has that intelligence. If you select any of the columns, right? If you go to this by delimiter, automatically it will pick the delimiter. Here in this column, you can see comma is the delimiter. So Hemant, comma Kumar. So it has selected the comma as a delimiter. But if you still want to change it manually, you can click on this. You can choose the other delimiters. Semicolon, space, tab, all these are delimiters. If you don't see any of the delimiters available here, you can go to custom and manually you can enter the delimiter. Let's say there are some cases where I get plus as a delimiter. I can manually put the delimiter here. Okay. So first option is split by delimiter. Okay. So now let us just copy any of the data. Let's say, let's go for the shipping address, or else let's first go with the customer. So in customer, I have first name and last name, both are in same column. I want to split this into two rows, two columns. First row should be first name and next row should be last name. Okay, let us copy this. So now how I want to split? I want to split all this data. This should be in the first name and this should be in the last name. So once we split, we should get this data like this customer name. The first one column will be converted into two columns. This will be your first name and this will be your last name. So it should be Hemant, here it should be Kumar, Manoj, Agarwal here. So how to convert this? So select that column, go to split columns. Now we are splitting this particular column by delimiter, right? Choose the by delimiter. Here comma is fine. And we have a different options. We will discuss about this. So now click on OK. Now you can see it has splitted this column into two columns. One I have with first name and another column we have with last name. So I'll show you one more time. So here we have a column. Go to split column, choose by delimiter. And here you need to choose the proper delimiter here. But Power BI has that intelligence, automatically it will pick the delimiter. In case if it is not proper delimiter, you can choose the other delimiter, or else you can go for the custom to enter the delimiter, comma, click on OK. That will convert. So now what I can do, I can just rename this column. First name, last name. All right. This is delimiter. And let us see if we have any other column with the delimiter. Okay, now let's go to shipping address. As I said, I have area, city name, and the state name all are in one column. I want to split this into three columns. I want to keep Electronic City, Amirpet, Ananagar, all these things in one column, which is area. And Bangalore, Hyderabad, I just want to keep this in city column. And Karnataka, Telangana, I just want to keep this in state column. Okay. So how to convert this? Select this one, go to split columns by delimiter. Again, it has selected comma automatically and click on OK. That will convert into three columns. So now I can just rename this as area. I can convert this into city and state. All right. And if you look at this item, can you guess what is the delimiter here?
Hyphen.
Hyphen is a delimiter. So I just want to split this in, my end goal for this is I want only this name should be in the column, pencil, book, pencil, pen. I don't want this item. So can you just tell me how can we do this? Any idea? Any guess? I want only pencil, book, pencil, pen in this column. I don't want item because I know already this column is for item, right? So there is no point of keeping item for every item available before that. So can you guess how can we do this? Any idea?
Maybe split and then remove the column.
Exactly, great. So we can go to split column by delimiter. Again, if you look at this, we haven't kept this hyphen. Power BI has automatically chose this hyphen as a delimiter. So now click on OK. Now we got the item name in the separate column. We can remove this and rename this as item. So based on the requirement, you need to choose which like delimiter we have to use in while splitting the column. This is by delimiter. Okay, now we will see what are the options available while we are working on the delimiter. So now I just chose the shipping address, and if I go to split column by delimiter, so here we see different options: split at leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter, each occurrence of the delimiter. So what are these options? So if I choose leftmost delimiter, what it will do from the leftmost, let's go. Leftmost delimiter. So what it will do from the leftmost in the sense from here, it will go for the first delimiter. From for this data, this is the leftmost delimiter. And here this is the leftmost. From left, the first delimiter. So from leftmost, it will split everything in one column and whatever the remaining data is in another column, it will keep in another column. So now let's see if I choose the leftmost delimiter, when I click on OK, now you can see Electronic City, Amirpet, Annanagar is in one column. Whatever the remaining data, right now we see only Bangalore, Karnataka. If you have any other information in this column, everything will be in another column. So based on the requirement, you need to choose the option. And if I go to other option, split column by rightmost delimiter. So what it will do, from the rightmost, it will choose one delimiter. From rightmost in the sense from here. So it will choose this particular delimiter. So when I click on OK, now you can see Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu is in another column and all other information in another column. This is second option. And if you want to split each and every delimiter, then we have option called each occurrence of the delimiter. So wherever it see the delimiter, right, that will convert into one column. So this will be in one column and this will be in one column. And in case if you have any other text here with the comma, this will be in one column. So every occurrence. So now when I click on OK, now we got the three columns. That's how we got the three columns. So based on the requirement, you need to choose this option. Let's say from this data, I want only states. I don't want the city. I don't want the area in my report. So I can go to split column by delimiter. I can choose rightmost and I can click on OK. That will, in that way, I will get only the state. I can remove this. I can use only state. Okay, is this clear about these options?
Yes.
And we have other options, which is advanced option like split into columns, rows, and number of rows and columns. That we will come back to this later. But as of now, we can find with these options what is delimiter and how to split this data either from leftmost, rightmost, or each occurrence of the delimiter. Okay, even from the date, let's say for my requirement, I want only the year. I want only year in my report. I don't want the date. I don't want month in my reporting. So how to get only the year from this column? Any guess?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question once?
Yeah, sure. So I have a order date column here. I don't want the whole data for my reporting. I want to extract only year from this column.
So using delimiter, right? Most delimiter.
Split column,
Okay.
use can use split column and after splitting we need to remove the other things, right?
I mean, like what options can I need to use to get only the year from this?
Each occurrence.
No, there is no point of going for each.
Rightmost delimiter, sir.
Yeah, I can go for the rightmost delimiter and click on OK. That I will get the year from this. And then I can delete this. So based on the requirement, you need to choose the options. Okay, that is by delimiter. So next option we have by number of characters. So if you look at this particular customer ID, I have India, USA, Australia, all this appended with the customer ID. But my customer ID is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be only this number 258, right? This is the customer ID. But somehow I got even with the country name. Now I want to split country name along with this. But if you look at this data carefully, every country name is in 3 characters, right? So what I can do, I want to split based on the number of characters. There is no delimiter here. So for this particular requirement, I need to choose number of characters. So I need to keep 3 characters in one column and remaining data in the another column so that I'll get the proper customer ID. So now I go to split column by number of characters. Again, we got the same options here. Once as far left as possible, once as far right as possible repeatedly. So you want to specify number of characters. So in our requirement, from left side, I need the 3 characters. So I need to choose as far left as possible and number of characters as 3. So now when I click on OK, now I got the country column here and the proper customer ID. So now I can convert this into customer ID and country. All right. So this is about splitting column based on the number of characters. So let's say if I go to number of characters and if I choose from right side 3 characters. So what it will do? It will take 3 characters from right side. From right side, it will take 3 characters. So when I click on OK, I can see it has kept 3 characters from right side and other data in other column. But this was not our requirement. We want to keep from the left side. Same way, if you want to repeatedly, if you want to do. So what it will do? Repeatedly, it will split the data. So 3 characters, 3 characters, 3 characters, 3. So the available data. So when I click on OK, now I can see we got 3 characters in each column. This is by number of characters. And then we have other option called by position. So let's say if you want to specify the position, I'm not sure about where we can use this, but there are some cases where you need to pick the data which is available in the middle of your text. So that time you need to give the position and number of characters. If you look at this customer ID, from position 3 to, let's say I want 4. So when I click on OK, so now I got from position 3, I got till position 4, I got the data. Let me show you again. Sorry, I was talking on mute. From third position, I want 5 characters. If you observe it carefully, from third position, it will pick 5 characters. Okay, from third position, it will pick 5 characters. So based on the requirement, you need to choose the type of split you want to go. And we have another option called by lowercase to uppercase, by uppercase to lowercase, by digit to non-digit, by non-digit to digit. So if you go to this particular column, reason, I want to split by lowercase to uppercase. When I choose this option, right now we don't have lowercase to uppercase here, but we have uppercase to lowercase. So when I choose this option from uppercase to lowercase, so I will show you how it will work. So from uppercase to lowercase in the sense, first it will look for the uppercase. So right now we got the uppercase in first character itself. So this, it will keep in one column and remaining the data in another column. Let's say I have a central in somehow like this, like. So if I choose uppercase to lowercase, what it will do, it will keep n in one column, this particular text in another column. And if I choose lowercase to uppercase, it will convert this into this way. Most probably we won't use this options like lowercase to uppercase, very rare cases. But this is one of useful split columns, but still we use very rare. Only the commonly used split columns are by delimiter, by number of characters. Even by position also we use rare. Let's see by digit to non-digit, by non-digit to digit. Okay. If you look at this customer proof, previously we discussed, right? We have the text here and then we have a number. So from non-digit to digit, if I choose this option, right? So that will convert, it will keep all the text in one column and the digit data in another column. So it is taking non-digit in one column. So non-digit in one column, and then it will keep the digit in another column. Okay. So can you just guess, can we split this using any other option in this split column by delimiter or number of characters? Can we try this? We have a delimiter here, right? We have a pipe is a delimiter. We have a hyphen and the arrow mark is delimiter. So can we split this column using delimiter? We can't use this. We can do multiple transformations and we can bring that, but it is little difficult. That is the reason they have gave some option called from non-digit to digit. And let's say if you look at this particular column, I want to keep the country code in one column and remaining phone number in another column. How can we do this? Any guess?
Number of characters using.
No. Okay. If let's say if a number of characters, how many characters you will choose here? If you choose 3, but this won't work because it has 4 characters, 0, 9, 8,
We
5.
can use space as a delimiter.
Yeah, so we have a space as a delimiter. So go for split column by delimiter. So again, space automatically it has picked the space. So now click on OK. Now you can see we got the phone number in one column and the country code in another column. So again, so based on the requirement, you need to choose the type of split column you need to go for. So any doubts in the split column? No worries, I will be providing a lab for you. So there you can even try further split columns for your practice. So I'll just explain you the concept, but you can practice in that lab. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then we'll go for the interview questions. Okay, related to the split columns, the question is, how do you split a column by delimiter? Can anyone answer this? How do you split a column by a delimiter? What are the steps that you can do to achieve this?
Select the particular column and we need to use the split column option. There is a delimiter, right?
Exactly. So you need to explain them step by step.
Okay.
So usually they ask these questions for freshers. So if you how you use the split by column or split by delimiter, so you have to tell them that I need to choose a particular column and then go for the split column. Here we have a different options. Among those, I need to use by delimiter. So what is the difference between splitting by delimiter and by number of characters? So simple, right? Splitting by delimiter, we split the column by using delimiters. What is delimiters? So we have a different delimiter special characters like comma, could be space. We have seen space, right? Could be colon, semicolon, hyphen, anything could be delimiter. So I'll tell you one more thing here. Delimiter, if you have you heard about CSV file? Have you anyone used the CSV files?
Yes.
So what is CSV file?
Comma separated values.
Exactly, comma separated value. What is comma separated here? Comma is nothing but delimiter.
Delimiter.
So if you look, if I go to any CSV files, I'll just show you. Okay, this is comma separated value file, right? If I open this in text, if you open this in Excel format, you will see only the column, nothing but like columns and rows. But behind the scenes in background, it will be in comma separated. If you open this in using Notepad, right? Here you will see the comma separated value. So every value will be like separated by a comma. This is nothing but a delimiter. And delimiter is not only the comma, even in some CSV files, we find the different delimiters. So if this is even CSV file, if I open this, now you can see the delimiter is, what is the delimiter here?
Double string.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So this is pipeline is the delimiter. So that depends. The delimiter, anything can be used in delimiters. I have seen some delimiter files where we have a like name, hash, marks, school name. So anything can be delimiter. Hmm. And we will see how to get the delimiter like CSV files to Power BI. We have seen Excel, right? We have seen Excel web data. Now let us see how to get the CSV files to Power BI. So go to new source. Either you can go for the text or CSV, or else you can, if you go to the full list of files, you can go to file, text or CSV, the comma separated value. Click on connect. So if I go to sample CSV, so this is how it will show here in Power BI when you bring the CSV files. So the delimiter, automatically Power BI will choose a delimiter. But in case if the delimiter is different, we can choose a delimiter like equal sign or semicolon. But you need to choose the proper delimiter. Then only it will split that into columns. Uh, so even behind the scenes here, Power BI, what it is doing, it is splitting the columns using delimiter. Right now, if you see, I choose semicolon, but it will look for the semicolon in this columns, in this rows. Right now, it's not able to see the semicolon. That is the reason it didn't split into different columns. What is the delimiter here? Comma. Comma is the delimiter, right? So that's the reason when you choose comma, it will split that into different columns. That is what we have done in the split column, split by column. Same concept will be applied here when you bring the CSV files. So now we choose comma. It has converted all the data which is available in single row to different columns.
I have one doubt. In the same column, we have used multiple delimiters. Like, is there any chance we can split in that way also?
I didn't get you.
So we have a one column with two different delimiters, right? For example, total, comma, some name, and later on like dot. Like we can consider as two different delimiters, right? In the same column, we have two different delimiters.
Good question. So usually real-time scenarios, in the sense they'll expect this type of questions in interview.
Okay.
So you mean to say that let's say we have in the same scenario we have name, comma, marks, dot, school name.
Yeah.
But normally, if I'm talking about any CSV files, right, you won't get this type of structure. There'll be only one delimiter that will be used throughout your file. So in this case, if you look at this throughout the file, right, we have only commas. There is no other delimiter. But in case based on your requirement, there might be some cases in the particular column, if you get this type of scenarios, but there is no other way to go, but you need to split this in different steps. First, you need to split this using comma. So what it will do, it will convert this in this one column, this one in another column. Now again, in next step, con you need to split this column using hash. That will convert another marks and school name. You need to apply different multiple steps. In one go, you can't do this.
Got it.
So if you choose the comma, that will convert this into proper columns. So now when I click on OK, that will load the CSV files into proper structure. So this is how you bring the CSV files to Power BI. So we have seen Excel as a data source, CSV, and web data. So in future, we will see SQL, how to get the data from SQL, some other data sources. Okay, so scenario-based questions, like if a column contains full names like John Smith, how can you extract the first and last name into separate columns?
Using delimiter.
Using delimiter, where the delimiter is space. So even if you attend any Power BI interviews, there might be a test, right? Where you need to give test. So there'll be multiple option questions. So they'll ask this type of questions. If a column contains full name, if this is how can you extract first and last name in separate columns? So by delimiter, and the delimiter here is space.
Uday, I have another doubt.
Yeah.
Like Jyoti, she asked no before something she like in one column there are two special characters like a special delimiter, different delimiter. So how about in the row as like each row contains this different delimiter
Each row.
in the same column. each row contains the different delimiter. Such type of data will available or not?
No, actually, most of the time you won't get that type of data, but still, if you get that type of data, um, it is not advisable to do at Power BI level because Power BI is an intelligence tool, of course, but not at the machine learning or natural language processing tool. It is just a visualization tool. If you want to do that, you can use Python script or you can use any other programming language to do that. But most of the time, you won't get that type of data. Very
Okay.
rare.
Okay.
Because most of the time you will get the data from data sources like SQL, right? But SQL, there'll be a proper structured data, which data engineers, they might have kept all the data proper structured data. You will be using this. So you will expect most of the time you expect the proper structure. You might need some transformations. But when you bring the data, which is from different applications, so in companies you use CRM applications, the data comes from web. So in these cases, the data you need to do a lot of transformation. But again, even if you use CRM web data, there won't be too much of inconsistency in data. Like as you asked in the same row, if you have a different delimiters. Any other questions? It's good that everyone is asking questions because I've seen previous batches. So whenever I teach something right after that, they won't ask any questions and they used to wind up the session. But it is good that everyone is asking questions so that it will be little interactive. But again, like once the session is done, try to practice. While you are doing practice, you will get more questions. So then we can discuss those in the next sessions. So again, if you want any sample data, yesterday we have seen, right, you go for Kaggle and bring that sample data, or else you can go for any, just search for Power BI sample data. So you'll get sample data either from official website, Microsoft, or we have a different data sets available here. Superstore is a common data source. AdventureWorks is common data source. Right? Can go and download this data. Fine. Any other questions? Okay, no, if no other questions, then we are good to close the call. Thanks for joining the session. Have a great day. Bye.